It was 1959. 9 young mountaineers, bound by friendship and brave souls, were on the icebound slopes of the Ural Mountains in Siberia. In the dead of night, at -30 degrees Celsius, suddenly, someone fiercely slashed the canvas from inside the tent with a knife. Why? What terror compelled them to abandon life-saving warmth, fleeing in ripped clothes and bare feet to embrace death? Some had crushed ribs, one was missing a tongue, as if some horrifying, invisible force had dragged them towards a brutal end. Was this a secret military experiment? Or nature's dreadful revenge? The fate of these 9 lives remains an unsolved question, the Dyatlov Pass mystery. In reality, the root of this entire incident was a silent killer in nature, a slab avalanche. Listen, this was no ordinary snowfall. A massive layer of ice, slab, settled on the tent during the night. Although it might have seemed minor from the outside, inside it was deadly. Imagine the panic in that moment. Asleep in the intense cold, the tent buckling under hundreds of pounds of icy pressure, breathing becoming impossible. To survive, not a second could be lost. Driven by love, emotion, and that fierce instinct to survive, Igor Dyatlov and his companions were forced to slash the tent with knives and climb out. In the darkness, amidst the snowstorm, they couldn't discern where they were running. The injuries they sustained, such as broken ribs and severe head trauma, were likely not from an external enemy, but possibly from the ice slab or falling into a dark ravine. And the young woman with the missing tongue, modern research attributes that to the river current or the activities of local wildlife, as the bodies of the last 4 were found in a deep ravine, near water. In severe hypothermia, people often mistakenly shed their clothes, a phenomenon called paradoxical undressing. This explains why many died virtually naked. Ultimately, this is not a story of aliens or mysterious murder. It is a dreadful tragedy of friendship, courage, and the sheer darkness of nature, where a group of young people, setting out with love and a zest for life, were defeated by fate. At Dyatlov Pass, not only were 9 lives lost, but a warm chapter of human relationship was also buried under nature's severity. Their final journey was a poignant dash toward death in search of life. In our first segment, we learned that the fear of a silent avalanche or snowslide was the primary cause of the Dyatlov group's tragic end. But the story doesn't conclude there. The most poignant part of this mystery is hidden about a mile away from the tent, deep in the forest, where the first 2 bodies were found beneath a Siberian pine tree. They were Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Krivonishenko. With bare hands, ripped clothing, and frozen stiff, they were trying to light a small fire. There were burn marks on their palms. Think about it, they wanted to melt the ice with their own body heat. This was their final attempt to survive, an ultimate pledge of friendship. Every step the Dyatlov group took was a reflection of their deep love for each other. In fact, after fleeing the tent, the terrified mountaineers split into 2 groups. The first group, those with fewer injuries, took shelter near the tree and lit a fire. Their aim was to provide light to help the others return to the tent, but the intense cold claimed their lives. And the second group, those with severe injuries such as Alexander Kolevatov, who had a head injury, and Ludmila Dubinina with crushed ribs. These were not injuries inflicted by a person, rather, these horrific traumas likely occurred when they fell into a deep ravine or were crushed beneath snow slabs while attempting to escape after the snowslide. Modern investigators also now view the reason for Ludmila's missing tongue is due to the actions of the water current and local wildlife. The most human and mysterious twist in the story comes when it is seen that the deceased members of the first group had removed some of their clothing to give to the members of the second group. This means that even as the first group was dying of hypothermia, they made a final, life-risking attempt to provide warmth to their injured friends. Dyatlov was found clutching the diary pages of his beloved Zinaida Kolmogorova, perhaps their final memory. The Dyatlov Pass mystery is not just a mystery, it is a mournful saga of human love, sacrifice, and friendship standing against extreme adversity in their final moments. It serves as a reminder that in nature's harshest tests, human emotion might be the strongest force. We will never know the detailed truth of what exactly happened that night in 1959 in the Ural Mountains. Because those 9 young men and women never returned to share their experience. But their diaries, the slashed tent fabric, and those footprints left in the snow taken together, this is ultimately a story of love and sacrifice. As I said before, it was a tragedy of friendship. When Yuri Krivonishenko and Rustem Slobodin were freezing to death while trying to light a fire near the tree, there was no way back for them. The tent was still buried under snow, and it was impossible to find their way in the darkness. Nevertheless, rescuers observed, one had put a sock on the foot of an injured companion. They made a final attempt to save another's life by sacrificing their own clothing. This human touch is what separates the Dyatlov Pass mystery from just an unsolved mystery. It makes it an eternal love story. After the incident, the local indigenous Mansi people renamed the mountain Kolitsayakal, or Dead Mountain. There was no secret military weapons test at Dyatlov Pass, no alien or Yeti attack. What happened was the struggle of 9 fearless hearts in the face of a rare, yet terrifying, blow from nature. They didn't want to flee, they wanted to survive, together. Their only mistake that night was setting up their tent right in the path of a slab avalanche, a phenomenon they had no idea about. Even today, when mountaineers cross the Dyatlov Pass, they not only honor the mystery of 9 prematurely lost young lives but also their unyielding courage and the love of being by each other's side until the last breath. In their final moments, they didn't forget that they were a team, a family. And this is the eternal human conclusion of the Dyatlov Pass incident, that in the face of terrible disaster, humanity can reach the highest pinnacle of emotion, love, and sacrifice.